Hi, and what's up, everyone? Is it all working? Is the chat here? Are you guys here? Hi, and what's up, everyone? Oops, that was an echo. That happens sometime. All right, let's see now what's going on. Let's see. I think we're up and running. Say hi in the chat if you can see me. Hi, Jolly. Super nice to see you. Jelly, not Jolly. I thought you said Jelly. I'm a little bit sore in my throat, as you can probably hear. I hope it's okay, and I hope the audio levels are good. I have a new microphone here that I'm trying out, and it seems to be working fine. So without further ado, I'm just going to share the stream on Facebook as well. Let me just do that. It takes a second, but it should be here any minute soon. How are you all today? Hi, Mega making super awesome to see you guys. Great, great, great. All right, let's turn it over to Fusion. I hope the resolution is okay for you. I know it's a little bit, I'm using a higher resolution screen, but let me know if it's just too bad or let's see. All right, I think we're up and running. Awesome, that's good. Hi Benjamin, nice to see you. Okay, so today we have, back to the big screen. Today we have a few goals. I want to model two things really. Well, one is a pretty quick one, and it's for the machine up here. So I'm gonna make that on the Delta. And yeah, just stay here 1 second, I'll show you what I'm doing. All right, so many of you know about Daniel Ree, my colleague and friend, who's done some awesome, cool stuff on OpenRC project. And one of the things that he's designed, and I've now printed and kind of got together is this one here. It's the OpenRC quadcopter. I haven't flown it yet, that's gonna happen soon, but what I've done is that I took it into Fusion, I did some remodeling so I could fit my kind of parts in it, and my big hefty 6,000 milliamperes batteries. So I needed to do some modifications for that. So luckily there's a Fusion file that you can use. So I'm using here the KK2 board. Oh, my throat is really bad. So that board, and it should be fine. I have a kind of over-dimensioned engines from a previous project, so these have around 1 kilo thrust each. So I think that might be a little bit too much, but hopefully it's okay. So we'll see about that. I need to print just a locking mechanism. If we look here into Fusion again, there I have everything redesigned here as how I want to have it. So for example, here's the KK2 board, and I made a top cover that fits all the connectors because they're like poking up really from the top. Now one of the things that I need here is to on this section here, you can see there's this part here where I'm trying to, this is my receiver, so I want to have like a little lid on top of that, and the plan is just to use this connector here. I want to try and print something tonight because I want to fly with this tomorrow morning, but I need something that can keep it all in place. So let's just do a super quick super quick model of that, and we'll go from there. And I have another product here which you might have seen if you're watching my Twitter stream. So this here is my my newest product. It will be a printable. It's running right now in the Fusion, in the Sigma, over in the back, not in the background, but in a closet. But it's a little bit too slow project, and I'm running out of black, so I unfortunately had to cut that model out and actually have to what's it called? Yeah, you scale it down, and it didn't really work as well when scaled down. So unfortunately, the print going right now might not be that good. But this is the model. It should be printable. It should be kind of fun. It has all these parts. Ooh, looks weird from that angle, but it is printable. It should consist of like the top hatch that you can remove that, and you could. There should be like a door somewhere there, top hatch. So these doors and everything should be printable as well. And yeah, I think that's gonna be a pretty fun project. I'm not sure if I'm gonna share all the things that I did, but basically if we look at the heat shield, I should be able to show you just kind of how I did that quickly. I think that could be pretty interesting. Thank you so much, Print That Thing. I'm pretty proud of both this and of course this is Daniel's model, so I mean I can't really take credit for the design, only the modifications that I needed to do. Let me see, can I show you guys the sketch here? Yeah, so this is pretty interesting. I'm gonna try to hide everything else. Like so. So what I did here was that I actually took and just watched the original model. Jimmer Printing, hi, and Tech Tante, hi as well. So right now it's just Fusion things. So the whole model here that I just showed you will be a printable. I'm not sure if I might actually upload that on. Yeah, it's not downloadable just yet. I'm not finished, so we're gonna finish some of the parts today, and I want to check out the printings first and see that those turn out well. If they do, I might have it available as an STL for my Patreons, maybe, hopefully, but I will actually try to sell that model. Yeah, so exactly, Mega Making, you're one step ahead. I was gonna show you guys that I saw the if we just look at like the heat shield, Dragon heat shield. If you just do a Google of that, we see something looking like this. So I want to try to reproduce that and get a fair representation of that. So to make it easy for me, I just sketched on the surface here. And then, just as Mega Making said, I projected that sketch. So you can use this project to surface. And when doing that, you have to first choose, I think, the model. It doesn't say it, it's a little bit of lacking like fields. But I think I choose the model first, and then you get this tool here, and you can start working. But I don't want to do that now. I just want to show you that when I did, wow, compilations. Never edit a sketch that's really behind in the whole hierarchy. That takes time to recalculate. Just updating down here. There we go. And when I then had just the normal, I think if we can see like the heat shield dome here. So this was the first model that I had, just a flat surface, and so I took this, I think this top sketch, and then projected it down, and I got these purple lines, as you can see here. And so I then took those lines and created a form, so a free form of those. So I got this web, and I then did some small modification on that, and then basically it's a Boolean operation. So if you saw my video about the fidget spinner and just working with splines and NURBS in Fusion 360, you can take normal lines and create these cool these cool patterns. And therefore you get some really cool shapes. And I mean, if you just use this as a Boolean operation, we then end up with this result. And it should be printable. I tried like this combination before. So using two parts should be printable, and then you lock it together with a centerpiece. So I'll probably do something similar, so everyone can print this easily. That's the plan, at least. Iron there, nice to see you again. That's the plan, and that is the underneath, really. So before we go anywhere, the plan today, if I can find which model I'm supposed to show. No, it's not that one, is it? Ooh, it's thinking. I think it's this one. Yeah, this one has the textures and everything. And then we have the door, the hatch, and the top hatch. So yeah, this is the plan. It's more or less finished. So the second thing to do is, where do we get the canvases? So the second idea is that we create the second part of the second stage on the SpaceX shuttle. So these are the drawings I've been working from. So I should be able to model this later today, and we can probably do this part as well as we get everything clipped in together. Now, before, as I said, the Fusion 360 project here, I'm just going to put on a small model here so we can start one of the printers in the back, because it's not a stream if we don't have something printing in the background, right? So it's going to be super simple. I'm going to go in and just basically model from scratch. So I'm going to create a, let me just see so I'm working from the right parts. I'll work from these ones. I'm going to create a new sketch on top here. I'll make a cylinder based on this one here, because we will use a screw hole the same diameter. I'll probably have something to help align a little bit. So I'm just stretching in the line here. And we could create, yeah, let's do that. Let's create like a small gap here, so it's easier to align everything. And this one should probably just go straight in, I suppose. Maybe something like that. This one, I'm just going to have one line here. Hey, Matthew, that's awesome. So are you doing like spare parts, or are you also creating drones? So I just mirror the shape here, and we end up with a complete shape. I'm just going to trim off here in the middle a little bit, so these lines here. And we should probably, yeah, okay, we can do like that. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't actually want to trim it. So we want to have just some little lid here that we can print. Ooh, and we don't want to, let's see, where's the spline tool? There it is. Antenna holders, cool, Matthew, that sounds awesome. Thank you, Matthew. Hope you enjoyed it. There's plenty of content everywhere. Hopefully there's something that you like. All right, so I'm just creating a line here because I'm gonna mirror it again. It's always difficult to try to explain what you're doing before it's done, because, you know, I'm doing it while I'm talking to you. So here we go. I now have the top models. Top model? Okay, I don't have any top models. Maybe in the chat, but I don't know. Depends on how many times you ask and how many times you share the stream. Right? So I'm just going to extrude this part out. Let's say 2 millimeters, that's fast to print. And then we're going to want to go back into the sketch because I'm not finished here. So as I said, I wanted to have some sort of, let's see, some form of lip here. So I'm going to take these parts, oops, these parts, and we'll extrude them down like a millimeter or so. Should be fine. And that means that when we push this down, it will actually like kind of like lock onto this edge here, so it's not fiddling around a lot. Hey Renee, we're all here to gather around and be creative together, and I mean, that's what we do, right? And I bet you that there's people here that are not really creative at all, and I suppose that we have to motivate them. So is there anything like special you want to do? And by the way, no model is complete until you have a chamfer on it. That's the truth right there. Okay, cool. So we have a part we can print. Let's make it. Let's print it. Let's put it on the machine behind me. Typical name. I'm just gonna jump into simplify. Let's see here. Can I remove those parts? Yes. Slab that in. Don't scale it. Reset scale. There we go. But I want to rotate it. 180. Center it. Just check the process. I'm not completely sure what's in this setting, but I suppose that's fine. And there we have a file. Let's connect to the printer. Should be connected. There we go. And let's start printing. It's easy as that. All right, so that will be running in the background. Now we can go back and work on the SpaceX design, or the Dragon capsule, or whatever you want to call it. Cool, so I'm going to be using a few tools here. Let me just know if you want to see like a small guide or tutorial how I'm using those tools before. So for example, if we just look at the capsule here, this is created mostly by using a freeform. Yeah, it's for the win. Basically using a freeform and sorry about that. And working with symmetry. So you see that we have these 4 rocket symmetries. Now there's a way you can basically just set this up as a 4x symmetry and then work slightly off center. So this part will be mirrored here, and those 2 parts are then, these 2 are then mirrored on the other side. And that helps a lot when you're creating a design like this. The only issue is that currently in Fusion 360 I haven't found a way to change the grid and the coordinate system. So ideally I wanted to work like directly out of one edge and have that facing me, but that just wouldn't work out at all, unfortunately. So I know you can probably hack it by rotating the component and everything after you're mirroring stuff, but since I'm working in free forms, you can't really finish the form and then start working with it after you're done changes to it. So it's really weird, but that's just how it works right now. I've seen there's a lot of requests for orientating the views and stuff like that. Anyways, these panels are then work together and more or less create a model. I want to show you a tool here that I've discovered recently that I find being super awesome and super fun to use. So if we go into the patch workflow, oh, it's behind your screen there. Maybe you can see it now. Yeah, okay, the patch workflow. We can then do a create an offset over of an edge. So if we create an offset of this, let's say this instead. What? Oh, it's not visible. That's a problem. All right, I'm going to create a new component. Just to get, all right, never mind. This one here, let's just make a, come on, this should work. Or is it crashing? No, it's crashing. God damn it, it should work. This one here, can we do an offset of this? Nope. Ah, there we go, now we have an offset. Cool, just gonna hide some of the other stuff. All right, we have machine printing now in the background. Hopefully you can still hear me. Come on, Rene, you can't celebrate 3 months. I know it's special what we have, you and I, but 3 months, come on, we can wait to 5 at least. And I promise you we'll have a big celebration. All right, so with this model, this is just a patch. It's just a 2D model. It's not really much you can do with it. Ooh, it's lagging a little bit. There we go. Now, so let's say that we create a do like this. We create another little offset. There's a fun tool here if we want to combine, if we have these kind of surfaces, or maybe you drew like a hole that you want to punch out. So for example, if we yeah, so if we extend this hole here, for example, this tool is pretty interesting because you can use this here, perpendicular, and we can then start to build these parts together. Now, they aren't stitched, of course, so you have to use the stitch tool to stitch those two models together, and we'll end up with one body. But what is fun is that you can now use, of course, we can still, let's just expand 3 of these here. Extend, perpendicular, internal problem. That's not good. There we go. Okay, we have to do one at a time. I have a plan here. I promise you. So, but just want to extend this like over so. And this one here as well. Oh, and I also have to flip it because it's inside out. Just flip the whole model. There we go. Now, and of course stitch all the parts, because we didn't do that. Stitch the parts. There we go, we should have ended up with one body. That's great. Now, if we go back to model and we'll create a freeform, and we can do just a face here basically, or in my case, a pipe. So if we start modeling, oh no, not pipe, I mean cylinder. And we can then start having some fun here. So I'm just gonna add like 6 here. And we're gonna remove some of them. Just deleting the faces, just to show you guys what's possible really. So what we can do here is that we can use the tool called pull. So we can take, no, sorry, I mean match. So we can take this whole line. Hopefully you can see the yellow here. The lines are selected, and we can pull them together to. Ooh, I don't want to chain it. Oh, great! Oh man, that's awesome. That really calls. That's the perfect sign for a good stream. Thanks a lot, Autodesk. Thanks. Okay, I guess we have to kind of start off from the beginning, I suppose. Let's see, is the print doing well? Yeah, of course, it's almost done. Almost done. Fusion 360. Okay, the tool that I was gonna show you is that you can match edges from a form and match those to open sketches or open what's it called? Open patches. So if you're doing something where you're ending up with a lot of different freeform surfaces that you don't really know how to connect and create a solid from, the first step is to take all of that So let's say that we create a form like this, and we'll extrude it in the patch tool. Let's say we do something like this, and we then wanna, yeah, I'm sorry I have to redo it all, but shit happens. So let's say that I have this surface and want to kind of cap this here. We can do a polygon like that. We'll edit it. Let's move it somewhat into place. We should be able to tessellate that as well. Can we do that? Subdivide, like so. And we can then actually pull this shape to, yeah, exactly. So we can then select the targets. So we'll take these three to this point. Control points, and we can start to matching up models and just basically creating a shape that fits in whatever form you're trying to fit it in. So for example here, moving that over, we can take this line here, starting just to do simple adjustments but crucial at the end. So let's repeat that. We'll select the dots here that we're going to use, and then pull them towards this one. Now we need to have, of course, a little bit more definition in the model, because it's not really connecting very well right now. So let's just add some subdivide these models here, so we get a little bit more edges to work with. And we'll just repeat the whole thing here. Select the ones that we want to do. We'll use the pull tool, select edges, and go with all of those. So that's awesome. We can now still, of course, work with this form in whatever way we want to do. And even more fun is that we can just stitch them together. So just going to finish that form. We'll go to patch. We can then stitch this and this. And we'll have to increase the tolerances a little bit. But there we go, we ended up with a complete shape. So now if we try to, let's say that we want to patch this one here, that's not really workable. We should be able to like create a line here, right? Yeah, I mean, should be able to use the same sketch as before, right? So this sketch here, yeah, you know. Good evening, Ben. You're never late. A wizard never arrives late. They always arrive precisely when they're meant to. Isn't that what they say? Anyway, so the stitching tool is great, but what's even better is that pull tool in the freeform models. So let's just skip the whole guide. I'll have a separate video for that. By the way, the model is ready now. I can hear it. Let's let it cool down a little bit. So going back to what we were working on before. I kind of want to end up now doing like the real model that I should be doing today. The silence in the background. So this is the project. I'm just going to show you how I do it, and I'd love to get some questions on the go, really. So what I'm doing is that I'm taking one of the canvases. I will probably have to create a new component to work from. So let's call this stage 2. What should we call it? Stage 2 cargo. I think that's the official name. Not totally sure. And I want to bring that canvas into this model. That's not working as intended. Nope, we can't do that. Oh, it's on this direction. All right, so let's see, all of the canvases here are easy to work from, so there's no need to not use one of them. So This would probably be one of the simpler shapes. Let's see if we can get some data on how they look inside. So dragon, capsule, cargo. Let's just see if we can get like any images showing how the inside look. Here no, not really. It's almost empty. That's not fun. I thought it was like a petrol tank, not petrol, but like a tank inside. Here we go. What does this image show? Yeah, this is easy modeling. Okay, we don't have an image about that. Okay, this is looking somewhat what we want. All right, so we got some interesting shapes here. Let's start off with the plan here. So you want to have the wings detachable because I want this print size to be limited to the diameter. What's it called? Diameter here. So if I could get like just a measurement here to show you like the size of this thing, it should be around 149 millimeters. So this should be printable in most people's machines. So let's start off with creating a I don't want to use that sketch. I want to create a new one. Oh. Fusion. This here. Oh, I hate when it crashes. Oops. Stop. So that's one of the issues, that when you have this big of a assembly, sometimes you kind of screw up, and like I did now was to work with the wrong model. So this is the model I want to work with. I want to create a new sketch on that plane. There we go. Now we have a sketch I can work from. Now we can base the center from here. Let's make it the inside like 130 millimeters. That's probably gonna be good. Now I want to have, oops, sorry about that. It's going to show you here. I want to have like the structure with slots. You can the fins that you can just pull them in, and everything should work easy enough. So that's what I want to do, and exactly how I'm going to do that is probably use a shape like this one here. So looking from above, there will probably be a shape looking something like that, and then probably like a wing out. Let's say this is the wing then. So the wing goes out a little bit, and you would just mirror this here basically. So if we mirror this, oops, not offset, mirror, then we get like the wing, and then we can, well, this is of course simplified, but we could do something like this. So the whole, this whole section here going down is actually inside the, if we look at the wing here, it's actually inside that model. So when you print it, it's gonna be just sliding it off from below, and then probably cap it off somehow, and have the engine, I think, is on that stage down here. So we'll need to make space for that. So basically, this is a super simple model to make. We go back in the sketch, and we'll make the outer of this model. So let's say, yeah, what is the outer side? Let's say 151. Let's go with 150. So now we have a shape here we can work off from. And we want to go that all the way down according to our measurements, or reference measurements, because we don't have exact measurements. So something like that. We now get a new body, and we'll probably have to yeah, hopefully Ben, that would be awesome if that could be done. Not a hole. I think this one here could be chamfered in a little bit because we want it to fit snugly towards the I'm just going to push this up a little bit as well. Okay, maybe no chamfer, and then just push up. Something like that. Remove those models so we can select this one and do like a chamfer in there so we have the base shape. We'll probably end up with an inner volume as well. Hi Daniel. No Ben, I haven't tried that one yet. Oops, you're not watching the screen. Oh, god damn it. My cold is still making me a little bit slow in the head, so I'm super sorry about that. It's just stuff that happens, right? So this section here now looks good. I'll probably... Which way should I sketch this from? I probably should just want to have this a little bit smaller inside. Let's go with 5mm more, so we have a little bit more margin for the wings here. So let's start looking at those and create a yeah, let's create a new sketch from that. So we know that they are going to be, let's just look at them again. They are going to be almost from this top. So we'll have to go from there and then all the way down. This is a problem because it's not completely flat, and I mean, if we're printing this, that's going to be a little bit bad. Yeah, man, I have the man flu again. Always happens. So just look at it from the top, and then again the wing. How far out is it? Yeah, let's just start off with the shape. So I think that if we do, just gonna make a line in. Let's see, 4mm should be good, and maybe 1.5. Let's go with 45 degrees here. 2mm in. Repeat that. 1mm. I think that should be good. That would allow us to have something here for the wing. And we can just flip that over. And we get a sketch. Just hide that body. So this here would be the inner side, and we should probably do a radius on this one because, you know, when we're honey and lemon, yeah, I've been trying that. Just gonna round off these edges because of using a 3D printer. So when you have the nozzle, you don't want to have too tight corners. Something like that. And then we'll create a small offset of these curves as well. Because if we do that, let's see, I want to have it that way. Because the offset will offset the inner part a little bit, so it's not too tight. Just selecting these here. So maybe a 0.1 millimeter offset just to have some small margin. Just capping that point outwards. I think it's, yeah, just to make sure that the line goes all the way through. So that's it for the wing. I'm not completely sure how thick they are. Let's see, can we get some sort of estimation? Oh, we have the top view, of course. So can we get some sort of estimation here on thickness? So what is this? If we stop the sketch, this should be around 2.5 millimeters. Okay, that's awesome. Good, good, good. 2.5 millimeters. Yeah, sure, the mirror tool. So one of the issues when I'm using the mirror tool here in sketches is that you need to have a you need to have a sketch along that axis. So usually, let's say here that I'm doing now the actual rocket that will go out, which would go like something from 1.25 because it was 2, so you have to take that measurements, and let's just make it 30 millimeters out. That sounds about right, or that, and just close it off. Okay, so now we have the mirror line here, Ben. So we'll just use the mirror tool up here. The first one is to select the object, which is these 3 lines. Those are the ones that I want to mirror. Now the second stage here is to use a mirror line. So if you just draw these 3 lines, you might have an issue unless you want to mirror it at like one of them. So that's why I always draw like this line in here, which I just keep in the different axes so I can mirror along those. I think it's really bad that you can't mirror on the origin axis or anything like that. So that's one of the issues, and I hope they can upgrade it soon. So now we have this part here as well, like so, and we are basically ready to do the wing. And I think that because of their geometry, we should be able to, let me just show this sketch here as well. Let's see, 30 millimeters was probably a little bit too much if we look at it in this direction. So let's just see if we can drag that in a little bit. We can do. That's the nice thing about constraints, is that we can just drag some of the things in and out. Yeah, absolutely. Should be similar. So I'll now just select these parts, and I'll go and actually set an offset. So let's see, we wanna, wanna show the bodies, but not all. Make a new body. Let's make it a small minus offset. The plan here is just there we want to start the wing at the right direction, and then we'll go all the way down. So we'll do the extrusion all the way down to this one. But I think I selected one profile too much. Yeah, I just want to have this one's out here. So there we go, now we made that model. See you soon, Ben. Thanks for stopping by. So I'm creating this body here. And just to make it fit here with the canvas in the background, the wing you can hardly see through, but you can see the reference model here. I'm gonna do a bent, what's it called? Not a chamfer. Yeah, chamfer, but not equal distance, but actually 2 distances. I'm just gonna move this in all the way and go with this one. Sorry, this one down as well, so we get those lines lining up. Can you see it? You can hardly see it at the computer screen, but that should work well. Awesome. Now we need to, well, basically, if we hide that one, I have the model that I want to have. So this here is really all we need. Let's just make a little chamfer in this one here as well. That's smooth. Nice. Could do like, it's probably not completely flat here as well, so we could do something like that maybe. 1.5. Just something so it looks a little bit better. Cool, so I'm gonna go back to the sketch I was working on up here, and I will actually create now a this like void or some whatever you want to call it, and I'm gonna create a new body out of that as well. Just drag all the way down, new body, like so. Hide the wing. And also hide the sketch here. Ooh, where's the sketch? There's the sketch. So this here, I'm just going to push that up as well, because now I want to mirror this one here. So I want to use this body to cut into the cylinder that we just worked with. So I'm just going to create a mirror. Use the bodies, mirror plane, this one here. Ooh, sorry, that was completely wrong. I was supposed to do a pattern and then circular pattern. So using bodies, using this one here around that axis, and I want to have 4 of them. Which is just, ooh, chat is not working. There we go. Things are weird. Oops. Things are weird in live streaming right now. Cool, and then we have the body that we worked on before, which was this one. So all we really have to do is use the combine tool, cut away with these tools, which I think is the correct way, right? Or no, that's true. We don't need it to go all the way up. Didn't think of that. Okay. Before we do anything here, I'm just gonna go ahead and delete those. And with this one here, I'm just going to push this all the way down to that point. And to make it easier to print this overhang as well, we'll probably do a chamfer here. Equal distances. I don't want to chain it. So repeat, don't chain, only select that one, equal distance. So we're going to do something like this with the model, which should make it much easier to print it later. And we have to do the same with this, using the other one as a reference. And so if that's 5.4, we should do 5.5, so it's a little bit more margin. Cool, now we can start to do what I wanted to do from the beginning. So let's take this here. Let's create a pattern, circular pattern, using this axis, and we'll get 4 of those. We'll go back to combining, using this tool, and then cut. And cut with these grooves here. There we go. Ta-da! And that's about it. All right. So you now have these grooves, and these should be printable quite easily. You can see this part here. Shouldn't be that hard, and then when we print these wings as well, they would just slide in basically. So we now have all the wings that we need, and let's just show the canvas again. Everything's matching up. We can actually create a component from this part and call it wing. We should have that inside of this part. Let's see, is everything in order? Yep. And we can then create a pattern again, circular pattern. Using the components, this one, axis Z, and 4 of them. Ta-da! And just for the fun of it, we're gonna just make him the same plastic white that all the other parts have, just to make sure that we, if we want to render these, we'll have a great render. Cool. So what else is there? There's not that much on the second stage. If we look at all the images, for example, this one here, it's not that much we can do on this stage. I guess it's more or less an empty cargo. Could be some, yeah, of course we had the solar thingies. All right, so we need, but there's no wing on this one here. That's confusing. So there's wing on some of them, but there's not wing on some of them. Let's see, a dragon crew. This is a good image. There are 4 fins, I suppose. Yeah, here we go. And there are some stripes, and there are some thrusters. All right, okay, cool. So we now know what we need to do. Let's just check out that render again. Trunk. It's just called trunk. All right, so let's put some grooves on one of the sides. That should be fairly easy to do. I guess we can use a just a new sketch here. And we can, let's see, how are we supposed to do this? Just want to see where the wings are at. Okay, so the grooves are towards one side. So let's make them printable. So 1 millimeter should be fine. And we should be able to do a circular pattern with those. Center point here, not a full, but with angle. Let's go angle 45 degrees maybe. Yeah, that sounds about right. Just add a few of them. Let's say 10 or maybe 16. 16 sounds good. It was for cooling, right? So that's gonna be good. Oh, let's edit this feature. Objects is supposed to be, okay, so I guess we have to do, I want to create a new object instead of joining it. Something like that, and I don't want to start from the beginning. I want to have offset of 40, minus 40. Let's make it like so. Cool, and can we do something about this? Like a chamfer? Yes, very good, very good. Cool, and now we'll create the pattern. No, circular pattern. Bodies, this one. Axis, that one, not full, but with angle, and around 40 degrees, and 16 of them. Okay, maybe a little bit more. Let's say 60 degrees. 50? 50, that sounds good. All right, that's about it. And we can actually create a component of that. Ooh, not of everyone. Okay, let's just redo that. We'll create a pattern out of this one. Now we're doing it, of the component, this component. Because with components, if we change one, the other ones will work. So it's much better to do it this way. Let's go with angle. We said 50, right? And then 16. Awesome, there we go. So now with the having them as components, if I wanted to do like a change here, let's say I want to push one larger, just change the height of them, everything will work out just fine. Cool. I guess that's it. I'm feeling that the cold is taking the best out of me, so I think we'll have that as a finished stage. Yeah, it's a little bit short stream, but I show you the cool things. I show you the beginning of the drone. So yeah, if you didn't see this before, this is hopefully gonna fly tomorrow, and we just printed one of the parts that will help out with that. So that's gonna be super fun. So about the short stream, I'm feeling that my cold is killing me slowly. So thank you so much for stopping by. And stay tuned, because I will do more modeling like this in Fusion, and it's past, yeah, it's almost 12:30 here and past midnight. So we're gonna say that for this time, and thank you so much for joining in, and we'll continue this build here shortly. So I just want to show you the whole with windows. We have everything here. See, not sure what's happening, but yeah, that's what's happening. And we have the